Good morning and welcome to Daily Red Devil. And we finally have some new transfer related news at last. I mean, it feels like it's been Groundhog Day for the last couple of weeks, but there is at least today some new stories to discuss. But before we get into all of that, please do me a small favor. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner if you are watching for the first time today, and give the video a like. On the show this morning, we are going to be talking about Dušan Vlahovic. We're going to be talking about Corentin Tolisso. We've got a bit of an update on Mbumo. We've got some news on some outgoings. So yeah, there is some new news today at last. Something different to talk about. So I'm quite excited about that. And the question I have for you this morning is super simple. Should Manchester United be signing Dušan Vlahovic? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Is he the player that we should be looking at to lead our attack in 2025? Let's bring you the news first, and then I'll give you my opinion. So get in the comments now, guys. Let me know your thoughts on Dušan Vlahovic. Should we be looking at bringing him into Manchester United? Let me know your thoughts. If we shouldn't, who should it be? Who is the player that we should be looking at? So this is coming from Fabrizio Romano. So this is coming from a very reliable source. And he is reporting, this was yesterday afternoon or evening, sorry. He's saying that Dušan Vlahovic has been offered to Manchester United as an option up front. United's current focus is on Bryan Mbumo, and they are yet to start advancing on a deal for Vlahovic. Now, I don't really get this. Why can we only work on one deal at a time? I'm going to say that from the beginning. Why is our focus on Mbumo? Why are we not looking at a striker as well? The season starts in what, 4 weeks, is it? 3 weeks, 4 weeks? It's not very long until we play Arsenal. First game of the season. They've signed, what, 7 players, is it? Gyökeres, Zubimendi, Madueke. They're going to sign Eze, apparently. They've signed a goalkeeper. They've signed a centre-back, I think. They've signed a left-back. I think they've signed 7 players, and they finished second last year. Every single one of those players that they've signed would get in our starting team. And probably every single one of their starting 11 at the moment would get in our starting 11. And they've signed 7 players. We've signed 1. So, okay, fine. But why are we only able to work on one deal at a time? This is the first bit of this story I don't get. We're focusing on Bryan Mbumo. Well, if we need a striker, which we all know we do, then why are we not trying to do a deal for a striker at the same time? We've already missed out on Liam Delap. We are about to miss out on Gyökeres because he's going to join Arsenal. So we've missed out on our first and second choice signings already for the summer. Those are our first and second choice targets in the striker position, widely known in the media that those were our 2 top options. So they're gone, fine. There's nothing we can do about that now. That's over. But what we can do is move forward positively. Now, in relation to Dušan Vlahovic, I think there definitely is an opportunity there, I think. But there is also a red flag. No other top club in Europe is really looking at Dušan Vlahovic. Obviously, Arsenal needed a striker. They didn't go for him. Chelsea needed a striker. They went for Liam Delap instead. I don't know. I don't know what it is about him. He's 25 years of age, right? His age profile is perfect. He scored 2 goals at the Club World Cup. Okay, not that really says much, but if you look at his goal record in Serie A, he's got 87 goals in 202 matches, and he's got 17 assists as well. So in 202 matches, he's averaged more than 1 goal or an assist every other game. So, I mean, it's a very good record, I think, to be scoring or assisting every other game. Last season, though, was a little bit of a drop-off for him. He only got 10 goals in 29 games, and we've seen what our previous history with Serie A strikers has looked like. We brought in Højlund, who I think had, was it 7 goals for Atalanta in Serie A? Something like that, around 7 goals, let's say, came to Manchester United, and yeah, he hasn't really hit the ground running, has he? If you look at Vlahovic in previous years as well, the season before that, he got 16 goals in 33 matches. Again, it's not terrible, but I wouldn't say that's prolific. If you go back to 22-23, which is what, 2-3 years ago, he got 10 goals in 27 matches. Again, I'm not sure if he's that prolific. If you go all the way back to 2021, he got 24 goals in 36 games, which I would say is prolific. And I'd say, wow, that's amazing. That was when he was only like 20 years of age, So he was kind of just coming onto the scene, had an amazing first season. Everyone was saying he's going to be one of the best strikers in the world. 24 goals in only 30 games. Incredible. But since then, it's kind of dropped off. Even the season before that, he got, again, 20 plus goals in 30 games in Serie A. But ever since then, I don't know what's happened to him. He's averaging around 10 to 15 per season in the Serie A. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I don't watch the Serie A enough to really comment on why he's dropped off so much. But effectively, Juventus want him out, which again is a red flag. Juventus are even willing to apparently release him as a free agent in order to force a transfer this summer. He's only got 1 year left on his contract, which means, he's going to leave next summer for free anyway. So they're kind of like, let's just move him on. Let's get him out. Let's see what we can do here. Would I take him? Oh, I don't know. I mean, if it was him or nothing, of course I would take him. If it was him or Dominic Calvert-Lewin, of course I would take him. But it is a little bit frustrating that, another transfer window has come around and we've not given the manager his first choice targets or even his second choice targets. And it kind of does just feel like we're shopping in the bargain. Like when you go to the supermarket in the evening and like there's the reduced section and it's all like sandwiches that go off that day and you're like, oh, should I buy it? And you're like, am I actually going to even eat this sandwich? And you're like umming and ahhing about it. You're like, oh yes, it is only 20p, but do I really want to eat a bacon and egg sandwich at 11:30 at night? Not really. And then you kind of buy it, and then most of the time that sandwich sits in your fridge, and then 2 days later you're like, oh, I forgot to eat the 20p sandwich, and it goes in the bin. Now, it's a bit of a strange analogy, but you get the point I'm making here, right? You went into the supermarket to buy a lovely lasagna that you were going to have for dinner with your family, and instead you end up with a reduced sandwich that's about to go off. That kind of feels a little bit like the Manchester United striker situation this summer, where the lasagna was the Liam Delap, it was the Gyökeres, it was the Osimhen, and instead we've gone into that supermarket and we've said, you know what, we're going to go to the bargain aisle, we're going to look at Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he's free, he's the reduced sandwich, we're going to go for Vlahovic, again the reduced sandwich. Now there are obviously different levels to this. I think Vlahovic is the best of that kind of bad bunch, if you like, but I'm still not particularly convinced, realistically. And I think the biggest kind of red flag here, which I haven't actually even mentioned yet, which is going to put a lot of people off, is his wages. Honestly, I could not believe how much money Vlahovic is earning. Vlahovic at Juventus, you ready for this? Drum roll. Currently earns €425,000 per week. Yes, you heard that right. A striker who in the last 4 years has been averaging 10 goals a season as a striker, playing for Juventus, one of the best sides in Italy. 425 grand a week, which if you convert that to pounds, because I know a lot of people here do pounds, he earns £370,000 per week in Serie A. That's unheard of. He's probably the highest earner in Serie A, I imagine. Let's have a look if my guess is right. Let's have a look. So who is the highest earner in Serie A? Yes, I'm correct. Vlahovic is the highest earner in Serie A. He is on, as I said, 425. The next one after that is Lautaro Martinez, and then it's Dybala. Like he is literally leap years ahead wage-wise than any of the other top earners. Like the second top earner is on 300, and then it's all like around 200. So he's earning more than double what most of the top earners are earning in Serie A. So I can completely understand why, Juventus are ready to rip up his contract and say, goodbye, because he's earning, over the course of one season, he earns more than 22 million euros. Now, I'm not sure whether he would be asking that to come to Manchester United, but, if he was a free agent and there was no transfer fee involved, I imagine him and his agent would be asking for absolute top dollar. So I would not be surprised at all if they asked for 22 million. But I just think it's too much, and I just don't think it's particularly worth it. But I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Is Dušan Vlahovic somebody that Manchester United should be bringing in? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I personally would swerve on this one. I just don't think it's a particularly good deal to do, realistically. But let me know in the comment section, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Would you sign Dušan Vlahovic? Yes or no? If so, how much do you think would be a fair wage? Get your thoughts in, get your comments in. Very interested to see what you all have to think. Just a quick one. Everyone who is watching the video right now, please do me a favor. Make sure to like the video. It really helps to bring more people into the channel. And be sure to subscribe as well. Bottom right-hand corner, do subscribe. I'm live every single morning, so make sure you get yourselves involved. Okay, moving on from there, we have some more new news to talk about, which is exciting. And it is in relation to Lyon midfielder Corentin Tolisso. So this is coming out from about 5 or 6 reliable people. We're going to start with the story here from L'Equipe. So L'Equipe are reporting this morning that Manchester United have approached the agents of Lyon midfielder Corentin Tolisso to discuss the possibility of signing this summer. It says the player is said to be drawn to United's project, but Lyon are currently trying to keep their captain. I like Tolisso. I think he'd be an interesting option. We definitely need a midfielder. Like the fact that we're not even talking about midfielders is beyond me. We need a midfielder. We need a striker. We need a goalkeeper. We need a left wing back, I think. And we're not talking about any of these players. You know, everyone's just completely obsessed about Bryan Mbeumo. Everyone's probably going to be happy when Bryan Mbeumo comes, when realistically, we still probably need another 3 or 4 signings. You know, when Arsenal signed 7 players in the space of 2 weeks, Chelsea have signed about 9 players. Both of those teams are in the Champions League, finished above us, and have a much better team already. Bryan Mbeumo and Cunha's not going to be enough. Let's be real. Unless these players improve rapidly, which might happen, you know. Stranger things have happened in football. Who thought Leicester would win the Premier League? I certainly didn't. This team have the potential, of course. They have the potential to improve. Maybe Ruben Amorim has an amazing preseason, and you know Onana becomes world class, and Dalot becomes incredible, and Casemiro suddenly rolls back the years. Like all of these things could happen. I don't think it will, but it could. But I don't think we can just rely on the fact that potentially Onana improves, or potentially Casemiro is good enough to stay this season and hold down our midfield and get us top 4. Like I don't see it, but you know, stranger things have happened. I mean, the only thing I will say with Tolisso is he's not a particularly long-term signing. He is 30 years of age. He's someone for the now. He does only have 1 year left on his contract. Did Lyon get relegated? Who was it who got relegated? Was it Lyon because of financial fair play issues? I can't remember who it was. Someone got relegated anyway. I think it was Lyon. I may have made that up, but I'm just going to check. Someone in France definitely got relegated. Right, their relegation. Lyon relegated to League 2 over finances, but French Giants... Okay, so they've won a relegation appeal. So they haven't been relegated. They were relegated and they've somehow managed to wriggle their way out of it. So... yeah, they've somehow managed to wriggle their way out of it. I don't know. I mean, he'd be a good option, I think. He's experienced. He's been around the block. But it's not a very long-term solution, is it? Realistically. It's for the now. He'll be here for, 3 years, 4 years, probably earn loads of money. What's his injury record like as well? I always look at injury records when they get to that kind of age. I think, if he's someone with a good injury record, it doesn't really matter if it's a short-term, if it's a short-term thing. Here we go. Here comes all the things. Yeah, so he seems to have had some knee problems recently. And yeah, I mean, you look at his injury record over the last 4 seasons, right? 26 games missed, 21 games missed, 20 games missed, 20 games missed. So the last 4 years, he's averaged 20 games that he's missed per year for 4 years in a row. So... yeah, I mean, for me, probably not. What's the point in signing somebody who's 30 years old, who's going to miss 20 games of, 50-game seasons? I mean, maybe he doesn't again. Maybe he comes to Manchester United. Maybe, he sorts out his injury records suddenly. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? It's easy for me to sit here and say, oh, he's been injured 20 games the last 4 years in a row. Maybe that doesn't happen, but... you look at the trajectory, you look at what's happened, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't pose particularly good reading for me. But obviously, you can let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think. I I mean, again, I don't think he was the first choice option by any means. But I would take him if it was him or nothing. Yeah, I would take Tolisso if it was him or nothing. But yeah, he's not my number one option by any means. But at the moment, as I said, we are shopping in the bargain aisle. Thank you very much for the super chat, Ray. Ray says, morning. Sorry I never caught your name, but unfortunately, when you're 15th, we're always shopping for cheaper strikers. Have a good day, sir. Yeah, my name's Kieran. Thank you for your super chat. I appreciate that. I don't know. I do somewhat agree with you, Ray, that like because we finished 15th, we're looking at cheaper options, but I don't know. I still do think that if we seriously went in for some of these players, I think we would have had a chance to sign them. But we're just not competitive enough at the moment, unfortunately. And that's why we are looking at people like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, people like Vlahovic. You know, the fact that we've taken 6 weeks to negotiate a Brian Mbeumo deal and we still don't know what's going on. I mean, that kind of says it all for me. But yeah, I know what you mean, mate. It's like we finished in a terrible position. So it makes it very difficult for us to do deals when we finished so poorly. But yeah. Anyway, right, I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. It feels like a good point to end today's stream. At least we had some different stories to talk about. Just to read out the results of the poll, 65% of people watching today's video said they would sign Dušan Vlahovic. 35% of you said that you wouldn't. So there you go. There's a little bit of an insight into how the fan base is feeling at the moment. As I said, I would definitely sign Vlahovic. If it was him or nothing, I would definitely take him. But yeah, I wouldn't say he's my my number one target by any means, realistically. But anyway, I want to thank you all for watching today. I really, really appreciate all of your support. Make sure to drop a like on today's video before you leave. If you are watching for the first time today, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, bottom right hand corner, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Hopefully we get some more news coming out in the next few hours, days, weeks, months, years, who knows with Manchester United. But anyway, have a great day, everybody, and I'll speak to you all later.